Welcome to the 188th episode of News Dump, where we run through the hottest topics in the Lewis County news scene and discuss. I'm local man Aaron VanTuyl, joined as always by Chronicle Executive Editor-in-Chief Eric Schwartz. That's your full title, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Usually botch that, so.
Cody is not here.
He's resting up. We got to keep him on ice. He's going to have a busy weekend.
He's going to the Palm Springs of Washington.
That's right. The entire Chronicle delegation is going to be there.
Hanging out at the Palm Springs Summer House.
Do you think anyone sends more people to state than the Chronicle? No. Like, absolutely not?
No. I don't think anybody has that many people to send.
Well, shout out to Chad and Corley Taylor for funding this whole thing. And then we'll have Dylan Rubin King will be moonlighting for us once again up in Bellingham.
We got two Dylans, a Zach, a Cody, and Ridley all going over there.
Yeah, there's a Josh Hart in the mix.
Josh Hart's shooting sports at Mount Tahoma. That's a state 2A, 3A, 4A track.
Be a highly skilled man in the chair running the operation.
That's right.
And that'll be me all Saturday, all Sunday, all Friday probably.
Yeah, you just the oracle here in the chair.
Literally just taking their stuff and posting it. That's all. But yeah, it's going to be fun. You got, I know this is in the sports dump. I did listen to the sports dump.
What did you think?
I thought it was a dump. Yeah.
Yeah, it always is.
It was fine. It was just fine. Lots of good coverage, state previews at cronline.com that are going to be in Thursday's edition.
Yeah.
Already up online. The boys and Ridley are doing a great job.
Yeah. Anything? What are you most excited about, having read all the sports coverage?
As a three-time announcer of the Oregon Trails Day Parade, have a soft spot in my heart for Tenino. It's right there in the sweet spot between the Chronicle and the Nisqually Valley News. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Tenino does. I'd really love to see those Stone City jerseys like lifting up a championship. They're in the Final Four, so they should win two, and they got it, right?
Yeah, I would like to announce some congratulations to local golfers who placed at state.
I saw that.
These results are just out.
Yes, by the time you hear this, they'll be just out.
Well, actually, I mean, this will go out Wednesday night. These just came out Wednesday evening.
It's true.
Adna's Braden Salmi finishes 13th in the 1B, 2B boys golf tournament. Shot a 166. Let's see, 2A boys, round two results. Centralia's Vaughn Wasson finished 5th. The 2As.
Ooh.
He's a senior. Burlington Edison had 3 kids in the top 5.
That's
Two
wild.
of them, I think, were like twins, maybe? Oh, no, brothers.
Where is Burlington Edison?
Up north.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah. It's up kind of by like...
up there by Olympia and Seattle and Tacoma?
Yeah,
Bellingham.
Burlington.
And Blaine?
Yeah.
Victoria?
Not that far. Not that far. I've only been there. I went to Burlington Edison once, maybe, to cover a football game that was Toledo Concrete.
Ooh, I like Concrete. Concrete's a fun town. It feels like, I've only been there twice, but it feels like it should be in Lewis County. It feels like a Lewis County town.
Yeah.
It's got that
Lewis
vibe.
County vibes.
Yeah. You could like throw it out there right in between Randall and Morton, and it would fit.
Yeah. And the highest local placer, Natalie Eklund from WF West, was tied for 4th in the 2A girls golf state championships.
And she's the one who won in districts by 20 strokes, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, she went 75-78, shot a 153.
That's how you get the community first athlete of the week.
Yeah. And she did.
Yeah, we get lots of nominations for that, and I don't know that the nominations have a sway, because I always pass them along, and they never pick who the nominated person was.
Yeah. Looking over the homepage, interested to see you've got your own headshot on here. Level 3...
Oh, come on. He doesn't even look like me.
History of indecent exposure.
That guy, I tell you, man, read that story, but yeah, he relocated to Lum Road, which is over there behind the Centralia Outlets. Level 3 sex offender has been cited, arrested, or suspected of exposing himself in public places more times than this story can accurately reflect.
Yeah.
And when they arrested him for it, they put him in jail, and he does it in jail, and he gets like in trouble for it in jail. Why do you do the things you do, Aaron?
Well, the power of something compels him, I guess.
We got this guy.
Know.
There's the naked guy that's just been popping up all around Centralia.
Those two guys met.
It's an epidemic, man.
Yeah.
Guys in the nude just walking around Centralia.
We're also joined in spirit by sponsor Summit Funding, Shayla's Outfitters, and the Roof Doctor.
Centralia should get all of them and ship them over to Shayla's. They're always talking about the homeless people getting moved around. Do it with our naked people.
You're gonna move the nudes?
Yeah, get them out of here. I got kids, man.
Well, there's also kids in Chehalis that probably don't want to see whatever you're shipping over there.
I wouldn't. Yeah, let's not ship them there. Send them to Hoquiam.
Sure, that's fair.
How I feel about Hoquiam.
Any preambles? We've already discussed sex offenders and state sports.
No, just with everybody going over to Yakima, we're going to be a skeleton crew around here. I'm hoping nothing too big happens. We'll be able to handle if it does. But
what would be the biggest concerning event that could happen here while your photographers are both in Yakima?
None of it's very concerning because we have contingencies. There's things we can do, resources we can pull. And Sarah Burdick, for instance, works down in obituaries and subscriptions and things. She takes good photos. We'd call her into service. But, any major big breaking news event, I guess. I think we're out of the woods for floods this season.
Yeah.
Confidently saying flood season over.
And it's been raining quite a bit the last few days, so fires are probably not.
Don't think we're going to have huge fire, no. I guess something big on the freeway, I don't know. But, I don't know, we'll be fine. Our resources are where they need to be, which is in Yakima.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. Teams over there, oh boy, WF West, Rochester, and Tumwater softball are on the 2A tournament at Carlin Park in Sela. Gateway Sports Complex has the 2B, 1B softball tournaments. In the 2Bs, you've got Adna, Peel Valley, and Toledo. The 1Bs, you've got Mossy Rock. And then you've got all the local 2B, 1B, 1A teams at State Track at
Eisenhower.
What's it called? Is it Eisenhower High School?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the field.
I think that's right. It's the home of Cooper Cup.
Zapeful Field.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then in Bellingham is Tenino baseball in the Final Four for the first time in a while.
And then Adna boys over in Ephrata, right?
Adna boys also in Ephrata, yeah.
Are there only 2B team in there?
Yeah, they are.
Enough
Lake
sports.
is also on the other half of that bracket, so we'll see what happens there.
Gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's all the preambles.
Get into the news.
Yeah. Well, there's also tennis, but I can't remember who's in it.
We'll get it though, because it is important.
It'll be there.
Yeah, we'll get that tennis.
News items. First up. Former Morton employee files lawsuit against city, former mayor, and former police chief for alleged sexual harassment. This lawsuit was filed in January. And in the lawsuit from a former employee and city councilor, it alleges that the city of Morton knew of Roger Morningstar's workplace transgressions at other employees, including his resignation from at least 2 positions due to sexual harassment claims at the time of his hiring, and alleges the city, quote, failed to take meaningful steps to protect employees of the city and female residents of the city of Morton, and failed to take action when it became aware that Morningstar made women working for the city and those living in the community feel unsafe. It also details more than 35 instances of sexual harassment, and it's a lot of pervy creep shit.
That's the official charge.
Yeah. Well, it should be. Once again, Morningstar was a county Republican Party representative, trained the current Peel Marshal, and worked closely with local elected officials, none of whom noticed anything, despite the fact that when they did this investigation, they called pretty much everybody he'd ever worked with, and they were all like, oh, yeah, that guy. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I think former Mayor Dan Mortenson's also named in this lawsuit, and he worked probably closer with Morningstar than anyone else. And then the city itself, of course, is also part of this. But no, I'm not going to disagree with anything. Every accusation so far against Morningstar has more or less bared itself out after investigation. Some of these things cited here have already been churned through various areas of the legal system or through the Criminal Justice Commission. I don't disagree with anything you've said. I like to remain fair and balanced, but he sounds like a bad guy. Based on the things we know that have already been documented, and then a lot of the stuff in here too. It's just there's no way to treat anyone, especially a woman.
This is just my opinion. Okay, I want to get that out there.
Oh, okay.
It's a hot take here.
Hot take.
If you've ever, protested outside a drag show or, maybe written a column harassing a local college for hosting queer prom or something because these people are all perverts or,
You're talking about Julie McDonald.
Or taken action at the county level to do something to prevent the library from sharing books because it's perverse.
Yeah.
And you worked with Roger Morningstar and you have still not said a goddamn word about it. Maybe reevaluate, your position on things.
You talking about John McCroskey, our columnist?
No, I think McCroskey would have worked next to Morningstar and been like, pervert.
Yeah, I think so too. I also think, though, that this would be a good column topic for him, and I'm going to run it by him, see if he's interested in it.
I would like to read that.
I think it's good to have good cops speaking out against bad cops.
Yeah.
You ever heard that Ice Cube song, Good Cop, Bad Cop? Give it a listen.
I will, yeah. But again...
Spoiler, none of the cops are good.
This guy could have apparently snapped himself out of a coma if he thought there was a nurse he could sexually harass, and nobody said anything.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Curious.
It's disappointing. And the fact that it's happened at every job, according to well-reported details. It's not like a new thing.
Like, call references?
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm glad he's not a police chief in Morton anymore.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
All right. Next item. Speeders take to the Chehalis Centralia Railroad. Ridley got stuck on the train and took a bunch of pictures of these little tiny trains. Is that what she was doing?
Yeah, the rail cars. They're like, independent, just basically rail cars. They're cars on the rails. That's what they look like. And she didn't really get stuck on it. She went to it at like 10 over at the Centralia Chehalis Railroad, and she had another assignment at 1, asked if she could ride, and I was like, well, you gotta get that another assignment. So she went back, and then, she ended up, it's the old thing, like if you go to an assignment and you get on a bus, like for a tour or something, you can't get back. Like, never ride the bus. That's the rule if you're a journalist. Just drive behind them. That way you can leave when you need to. But it was fun, though. People really like those photos.
Yeah, look pretty cool.
Train people are one of our most reliable audience demographics.
I think the overlap between people who appreciate trains and people who read newspapers.
Yeah, it's probably pretty good. Yeah. That's the Predator meme.
Yeah.
Hand in hand.
Hell yeah. Old timiness.
How dare you? We're cutting edge around here. We have a TikTok now, Aaron.
Jesus. For now.
I haven't seen it. Ridley made it, though.
Next item. Man accused of having meth in his sock at the Lewis County Jail claims it was horse vitamins. He's got it backwards. You're supposed to claim horse vitamins are the miracle drug, not the other way around.
I see. Yeah, that was pretty straightforward. He's an animal cruelty suspect. We haven't seen charges in that, though. But after they specifically asked him if he had any drugs.
Not those drugs.
I don't know. I've heard about drugs in worse places than socks over there, so.
That's true. Next item, new owners look to breathe new life into Mountain View Cemetery. This is Father Gary Graveline Sr. and Rector Stephen Morrison are the new owners. Gary Graveline, best funeral or
he's been around for a long time, submitting death notices and things like that. But yeah, every time it comes up, I remind everyone there's also a flood consultant around here. The last name is Wetmore. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just don't have a choice on who you become.
Yeah. Graveline and Morrison are members of the St. James Anglican Church in Tumwater, though the cemetery will act independently from the church. According to the Treasurer's Office, the land sold for $2,001, $1 more than the minimum asking price. The Assessor's Office values the property at $568,400, although, I mean, that's an assessed value. That's not like what you can turn around and sell it for.
Tax it on, yeah.
Yeah. The sale earlier this month is the latest chapter in an 18-month-long saga after the county foreclosed on the property in January of last year and repossessed it as the owner fell 3 years behind on property taxes. It was established in 1899, sits on 28.3 acres at 1113 Cabanis Drive in Centralia, kind of back behind the Les Schwab and Safeway.
Yep.
Back there. The new ownership group is planning a volunteer appreciation day in June to recognize residents who have maintained the property. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Speaking of dead bodies, the PDC issues formal warnings to CT Publishing, Lewis County Republican Party commissioner candidate. No additional action taken. Would you like to speak for yourself, sir?
Again, like when this came up last time, yeah, there's a law on the books. It was caused by Google and Facebook and their political advertising. You could wrap it all the way into that 2016 election, Russian interference, all that good stuff.
Do you want to take it back to 9/11 while you're at it?
I'm just saying. So, yeah, you're supposed to have my understanding, you keep a publicly available document with all of your political advertising in it for someone to view. We just didn't know about it. We have it now. And Kyle Wheeler filed the complaint. Good for him. If he was correct, we were warned. And, we fully reported on it, got it out of the way as quickly as we could. I think we had this report out just a few hours after it was released. So just right away, we told on ourselves.
All right. So now that folder is established, who's your favorite candidate? And by favorite, I mean highest paying.
I don't have one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Next item. You're going to have to help me out with this. I only kind of glazed at the story and wasn't sure I understood it. Lewis County sues Chehalis over homeless shelter. So the county wanted to open up a night-by-night shelter, and the city of Chehalis didn't approve the paperwork because they said it wasn't good enough. That seems hard to believe.
It sounds like the county kind of thinks that the city slow played it a little bit. Like it took over a year for them to respond to her, like a request of zoning change.
Yeah.
And then basically said no. And I don't know. I don't know the real true story. I don't know if it's that Chehalis does not want the shelter within city limits like that, or I don't know. I just know that the lawsuit exists, and we kind of knew this was the case because I asked Mitchell to ask for an update because they had said it would be built by this time or it would be in place by this time, and the responses we got from the county made it pretty clear that there was something going on in the background that we needed to find out about. So yeah, I think it was filed back in April. So yeah, well, we'll see how that goes.
I, for one, cannot wait for Lewis County to tell Chehalis how Chehalis not immediately signing off on paperwork approving an old bank building to be a shelter is hurting Lewis County financially.
I think you're on the record as saying that's a good spot for the shelter.
I think it is.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
But the county somehow still the victim here? Or the perpetrator?
The county
Just
being
blind
like,
rage?
You're not doing bureaucracy fast enough.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Well, calm down. Why don't you go settle one of your other lawsuits first? Get back to me.
Oh, they're filing them now, not just taking them.
Oh, yeah. They're like, well, we've seen how easy it is to win a lawsuit against us, so we're going to try it around and see if it works against you.
We're still also trying to figure out, like, because they were going to put the animal shelter on that same property at one point. Moved it. I don't know where that's at in the process, but people have commented on that.
Simultaneously?
I think so.
It seems like just asking the ACLU to step in.
It's
and
the same building. I think it's just that same property over there.
Well, it depends on which commissioner you ask, you know?
I don't know. That's your thing, man.
How are they going to enforce this was also they could enforce the homeless ban that isn't really a homeless ban, right?
Yeah,
like that was part of it.
if that's how you want to phrase it. But yeah, it's just basically you can't tell people they can't sleep in a public space if you don't have a space for them to sleep in.
Yeah.
So by having the night-by-night shelter, they can go there. And night-by-night shelter, rather than just being called a homeless shelter, is because you can't, like, stay there. You can't, like, set your stuff up and come back to the same place every night. You got to pack up and leave every day.
And how are they going to enforce that?
I don't know. I mean,
they're going to arrest the violators with the sheriff's deputies that are understaffed?
I don't know. If you watch the Centralia Police Department log, they're moving people off of public property quite a bit. It doesn't seem like there's been like a lack of compliance. I'm sure they have to go to another public space where maybe they're not causing any reports or something. But yeah, I think that's kind of how they're doing it.
Okay. Any other? Do you want to hit news now or at the end? The rest of the news. Obviously, these notes are old.
Yeah, these notes are quite dated. Let's just have a look now and see. $2 movies are coming up at Midway Cinema.
Oh,
I'm excited
good?
for that. Is there anything good? Let's see. What's the best movie on this list? They're all family friendly, so sorry.
Oh, not Wild Things.
We
my
got
favorites.
Spirit
Black
the
Swan.
Horse. We got Lego Batman. There you go.
That's a good one.
That'll work for you. All of the Lego movies are playing, and then both Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movies are playing.
Those are both good as well.
Yeah, there's some good ones in there, some throwbacks. I always liked Over the Hedge, Steve Carell, another animated thing. That one's going to be there. People loved that. It was our most shared item on Facebook, at least this week. People are all about those $2 movies. We had Mr. 2000, who you might remember from the front page, sinking those shots. He's Mr. 4000 to you now.
Damn.
Yeah, he hit it. I love that they do that, and they set up a little fake ESPN booth. They call it. I don't know. The funniest part was, for me, one of the fake broadcasters asked him what he had to say to his haters. And he was just like, "Thank you."
That's a good bit.
It was really good. Let's see. We'll get to Julie McDonald when we get to Tales from the Takes page. I really enjoyed Centralia-born Medal of Honor recipient. Went from the Hub City Creamery to fighting in the Philippines. This is our local only Centralia Medal of Honor winner, Dexter Kersetter. We've covered him before.
Oh, he's got a bridge.
Mm-hmm. He's part of this new book. It's just about heroic military men from every state. This one was focused on Washington. Owen's been just picking out individual names and writing it up. But the narrative on this guy, when they're like, "Hey, take this hill in the Philippines. It's going to take you a couple of weeks," and Kersetter, they had it in hours. Charged it head on, and you read the narrative, he's like, so he killed 3 guys, and then he jumped into a cave and killed 3 more. Jesus. Jumped out and kept charging it, and then they held the hill for 3 days. Just a very, very harrowing story. I enjoy that. We have another one of those coming up for Saturday's edition. Kayla Weed's going to be fighting again, defending that title.
I hope she gets to fight this time.
Yeah, I do too. You can check that out.
Barn?
Yeah, the round barn.
Summer continues.
Yeah, everybody liked the round barn. WSU did a story focused only on round barns, and one of them is in Chehalis.
Yeah.
It's the only one located in a the National Register Historic District. So, like, basically old parts of cities.
Yeah.
So that's how old it is. Super
That's
old.
the Klein home over in Chehalis.
Let's see. It was built in about 1902 by the Kaufman family. Anyways, that one was cool. Everyone loves barns around here. You give me a lot of crap about our barn coverage, but the people want it.
I appreciate the barns.
We had a burglary where a couple in Centralia returned home and just found a gentleman walking out of their house with a few possessions. He had fed their dog while he was inside.
That was nice of him.
Yeah, he tried. But yes, he has been charged. There's lots of good stuff on here.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jeff and Julie from Fairway Lanes.
Jeff and I met Jacek of Summit Funding at our bowling center, so when we fell in love with this community and it was time to relocate, we knew we would be calling Summit Funding.
They understand that everyone has a unique situation when buying a home.
He had already helped 2 of our employees get into their own homes. The Summit Funding team exceeded our expectations. It was a seamless experience with great communication from his whole team.
Thank you to Summit Funding for making our buying experience special and memorable.
All right, we're back. It's time for segments. First up is Tales from the Takes page. And Brian Mitke writes, "It's the perfect time for a walkabout." From his column, he writes, "I highly recommend such a walk. If you have an hour or so free, just step out in any direction. You won't know until you take that first step what all you'll notice. I guarantee it'll be a whole different experience than driving." And you've been taking this advice. You're a big walking man now.
I've tried. It's been a little wet lately to do it, but yeah, I've been trying.
Well, don't let that stop you.
Yeah, I'm not walking in the rain. Yeah, you walked from Stan Headwell to WF West. You ever made that walk before?
No.
You have ran from your house to Adna, though.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was, long run.
And if you valued those kinds of things.
I ran almost all the way back, too.
I have a car.
Congratulations. You're going to look down your nose on anybody who doesn't.
That's right.
I like that Mickey can take a concept like, what if you went for a walk, and turn it into a heartwarming column?
Yeah, it's his bag, as you say.
Yeah.
He was going to stop by here and visit a short time ago, and I told him that if he did, he might accidentally end up on the podcast, and he immediately texted back, never mind.
Well, we could have had him read the column aloud to us.
Oh, that would have been nice. Just excerpts, like NPR.
Yeah. We've got some other columns. Maureen Harcum writes, "Parents need to demand quality meals be brought back into schools."
She's got a series coming. This is the first in the series of her farm to school. The next one she's already filed is about the cafeteria worker out in Boisfort, which we had some reporting on not too long ago. Their kids eating salmon and locally sourced produce, and she's just advocating for other school districts to get some of their food from local farms and resources, butchers and things. It's a good idea.
Cool. You got a column from Maynard Maloney. Climate smart agriculture is the future.
You know
He's
him?
a Lewis County farmer. I know of him.
He must be held in high regard because usually when we share stuff that has to do with climate change, we get a lot of laughing emojis and people are, that don't believe in climate change, and everybody was pretty nice to this guy.
Yeah. Cool.
Julie McDonald had probably my favorite column of the week. It was one of her history takes. Pioneer graves atop Boisfort Mound threatened a century ago. And her lead is an unusual mound on the Boisfort Valley, southwest of Chehalis, proved the perfect place to bury early pioneers, at least until 1887, when a wealthy Canadian farmer bought the property, removed the headstones, and plowed the land for
that
crops.
Son of a bitch.
Damn Canadians. She did a really good job on it. One of the interesting thoughts was she was listing some of the people who are buried there. Turner Roundtree's Scottish wife, Mary Adeline Polly Ferguson, who was the cousin of founding father and Revolutionary War statesman Patrick Henry, is buried there.
Really?
He's the give me liberty or give me death guy.
I feel like back in the day, you could just make up who your relatives were. There was no way to prove it.
I don't think so.
Like, well, Abe Lincoln was my brother.
You don't believe in anything.
I'm not saying I don't.
We did have one of
anything.
Abe Lincoln's bodyguards living out in Mossy Rock, according to previous Julie McDonald reporting.
See?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
But he's pictured next to him. Like,
Well, who'd you hear that from? Your cousin, Teddy Roosevelt?
No, Julie McDonald, our columnist. Can't believe you would call her a liar.
I'm not calling her a liar.
You
Just
just
saying it was a
did.
lot easier to get away with that back then. There
was the whole phenomena back then of like claiming to be a famous person. I've heard a lot of that, like especially like outlaws and things. Like years later, you're just like, I'm that guy.
I did it.
Yeah.
I sold the Brooklyn Bridge or whatever.
There were a couple of responses to John McCroskey's column that you enjoyed so much last week.
I sure did.
About the college protests and things. I actually thought both of them were pretty well thought out and like they're good columns. People like those columns.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the long and short of it. We have a couple in today. You mentioned Maureen Harcum. Richard Stride tells you how to get good sleep better.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Do you get enough sleep? Doing good there?
You think I can
got a baby.
do this job and sleep at night? I mean,
Not
people
this
always ask me
particular
that.
job.
How do you sleep at night, sir?
Like in a haze, my friend. This podcast is brought to you by the Roof Doctor. We have no time for transitions here. The Roof Doctor asks, is your roof under the weather? They've got a little pop-up that pops up. And I accidentally...
Their pop-up pops up?
Yeah, I clicked out of it. I was going to read it, but oh well. The Roof Doctor awaits your house call. You can always get a free estimate from the Roof Doctor. Were you aware? Did you know about that?
No one has ever told me that before.
Well, we got a nice little caricature of a doctor guy with that thing on their head,
Mm-hmm.
What's that thing called?
I don't even know what it does.
Oh, well, he's got a red thumb and a hammer. But the actual Roof Doctor, they're not going to hit their thumbs.
Oh, they don't miss.
They do not. When the Roof Doctor aims, they do not miss. Visit theroofdoctor.com to learn more about their roofing services, which include new roofing and re-roofing, roof repair, roof cleaning, and emergency roofing. And you never have to pay for an estimate. You can also give them a call at 360-736-0246. The Roof Doctor. People's Champion of the Week?
Yeah, who you got?
I've got a Rochester 8th grader who won a local, district, and state VFW Patriots Pen essay contests. This is Emily Hammock. And her essay was one of more than 73,000 submitted nationally for the Patriots Pen contest, according to the VFW website. She got a $2,000 prize. She had already won an additional $750 in cash prizes for winning the local, district, and state level essay contest leading up to her national competition. The theme for the 2023-24 essay contest asked students, how are you inspired by America? And she wrote, among other things, democracy and the different features are what inspired me, like its rich history. History is definitely one of the things that inspired me about it. Actually, she told the Chronicle that wasn't part of her essay.
Right. Her essay isn't attached there, though.
Yeah, it is. So
she was told by a lot of people when we published it that actually this country sucks now, which I knew was coming as soon as I posted it. It's just like, well, it was good 3-4 years ago. Catch my drift.
Yeah, something changed.
I'm good with that one as the People's Champion of the Week, but I also think it's a good way to throw in this Nisqually Valley news story. Former Rainier grad Army Sergeant Justin Norton posthumously inducted into Wrestling Hall of Fame. I thought that was a cool story. Justin Norton, as most people will know, was killed in action by an IED while on patrol in Baghdad in 2006. He was 21. Someone visited the Wrestling Hall of Fame and thought, hey, that'd be cool to get him in there. And they have like a green jacket and everything. His family went to the ceremony. Let's see here. While Holterman said Norton was not a state placer or superstar wrestler, he held valuable roles. Every team needs someone who is upbeat and always lifts up others. So I thought that was a nice way to honor him all these years later.
Yeah, that's very cool. All right, Sirens Banger of the Week. There might be a few extras in here that you want to throw in, but an agitated male on Alaskan Way called regarding, quote, his mom driving him into the dirt. The dispatcher noticed the man was rambling about various topics, including possibly becoming homeless, how he didn't want cops coming in a blaze, and how no one listens to him because he's a man. Can you relate, sir?
I thought that one was pretty funny as well. Yeah. He wanted the cops to come, but he didn't really want them to come, and then he was kind of frustrated that they weren't listening to him.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, who among us has not been there?
Yeah.
There's no place in society for a strong man anymore.
I'm just happy to see a presumably clothed man take back the Sirens Banger of the Week crown.
It's very nice.
Been an indecent exposure of the week.
And if you desired to be a clothed man, where would you go shopping?
You're going to go to Chehalis Outfitters, which is currently having their Memorial Day sale, which means
I'll be damned.
if you are a veteran or active duty, you can get a 10% off discount. There's an asterisk next to that. I don't know what the asterisk stands for. They're also having a canning seminar coming up here pretty fast.
Ooh.
We recently ran into Kelly Erb, the store manager over there.
Well, he's a big fan of cans. How do you feel about that?
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The canning seminars with David Sherry of, what's his business name? 2 Lumps of Sugar Canning. Mm-hmm. So, Aaron, would you like to learn a skill?
For the first time, yes.
Would you like to have control over the food you eat, save thousands of dollars on food costs, and have fun while you're at it?
God damn it, I would.
Then you need to check out the seminar. It's on June 1st at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at Chehalis Outfitters. Tickets are limited. You want to get them early by stopping by Chehalis Outfitters to pick those up. They're only $25, but you get more than that. There's a swag bag with $75 value in it. So you're making money by signing up for the canning
That does sound
event.
like fun.
Yeah. You're going to get a recipe book in addition to the swag bag, and you're going to learn how to safely do pressure canning. And I'd actually like to learn how to do this. I don't know that I'll make the seminar, but we're gonna put together a story on this as well.
Yeah, that should be great. You should send Cody over there to learn how to. He probably already knows how to can things, doesn't he?
He probably does. Yeah, he's an Adna boy.
Yeah,
You guys
how these
just
things work.
eat out of cans since birth, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or not cans, jars.
Jars.
But yeah, you should head over there. They're also still really pushing Red Rose Animal Rescue out in Rochester, using their platform and over 11,000 followers on Facebook to try to connect these doggies with homes and other animals.
Okay.
So there you go, Chehalis Outfitters.
Do you want to hear some Facebook comments of the week?
Let's do it.
On a post about Derek Sanders catching a bad guy, this commenter said, "Amazing how Sanders always takes credit for a team instead of giving credit to the team, only naming himself." That Derek Sanders responds, "Oh, totally, Judy. Nothing says I take all the credit quite like tagging all the involved agencies who helped and finishing off the post with huge shout out to WSP's airplane who saved lives tonight."
That was his response or somebody else's response?
That was Derek Sanders' response.
He's mixing it up. I saw him mixing it up with someone else too. There's a guy that makes every post about the deputy that was hired and then resigned quickly. Was involved in the Manuel Ellis case.
Who never did anything wrong.
This guy posts a photo of a mug, and it's the picture of Derek Sanders and the deputy from Facebook, and was just going in on him for it and telling him about how, anyways, Sanders responded, "Well, I still talk to that deputy regularly, and I have no idea who you are." Rocket emoji. And I just thought that was funny.
On a post about some kids throwing tomatoes or something, this commenter says, "Throwing fruit in this economy?" I like that.
That was another Derek Sanders post because it was out in Yelm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on a repost of 2 people getting engaged at the bowling alley, this saucy commenter says, "I have pictures and text that proves he was just with me."
Oh, my goodness.
And I don't want to shame anybody, but I saw the picture of that guy, and I was like,
What are you talking about?
kind of looked like one of the Napoleon Dynamite brothers.
Oh, why are you always like attacking people for their looks?
It's just a weird
They look
flex
like a
to jump in
loving couple to
They
me.
did. They looked very happy. I don't know why this commenter is like, "I'm going to go ruin that guy's life." He looks like a normal fella.
Go back and do things differently. I would propose at Fairway Lanes,
Where did you propose?
Glacier National Park. I risked death by bear, Aaron.
You're like Morton Lanes.
Yeah, I should have. Or like Columbia Falls up there had some nice ones too.
In closing, what's coming in the next edition?
We got lots of stuff. Might be a little light on the photos since all our photographers are leaving us for Yakima. But
He's
we'll have
shacking
good
up at the
stuff.
summer house.
Let's see what's going on. Owen Sexton reporter. He went out to Elby today. Something about a new Sasquatch statue out there. He's hot on the trail. He's going to head down to Castle Rock tomorrow. There was a pig that was appeared at the Spring Youth Fair that was injured, and so we're going to write about that. What was his other one? He had a great setup of stories for this weekend.
Did somebody paint the Winlock egg, and he had to go cover that too?
I don't know if they did. We would be there, Aaron. That's the type of news that we love and appreciate. Tomorrow, he's going to cover the funeral, burial of the World War II veteran who died following the Bataan Death March. He's from Centralia. The family's been trying to find a photo of him for weeks and weeks now, maybe months, and no one has been able to find a photo. George Bishop is the gentleman's name. He supposedly graduated from Centraeus schools or attended Centraeus schools. Anyways, we'll have coverage of that for the Memorial Day weekend paper. Got to think that's going to be out front for Saturday. Lots of good stuff going on. Update on the initiatives. Apparently there was some polling done that maybe showed that the initiatives don't have the support they need to pass come November. Don't know if that's true. Mitchell has been working with Jim Walsh and others on an update for that.
Well, I can't wait to hear Jim Walsh's reasoned, rational takes.
Might have an update on the Quarry Pool out in Tenino. I don't know. It's going to be another hot paper. We got lots of them.
Yeah.
Loaded with local these days. I've hardly been able to fit any wire in.
Yeah, well.
Unless it has to do with the Bob Fergusons. I had another Bob Ferguson story.
Oh, I saw that, yeah. Did Bob Ferguson go too far?
Yeah, the answer, yes.
Calling out somebody for election interference? Which
No,
is
it was
felony?
the reordering the ballot. Yeah, whatever. You can go read it at cronline.com. It's not us. It was Washington State Standard story. Mm-hmm. Jerry Cornfield.
Yeah.
One of the all-time greats.
I think I've spoken with him before.
Oh, what a flex.
Leave a review and rating on Apple Podcast if you want, or send us an email at chroniclenewsdump@gmail.com. We'll be back next week to talk about the news.